in a quaint suburban neighborhood, where the days drift by like the gentle flow of a forgotten stream, an elderly woman named Mrs. Jenkins resided in a house filled with the soft purrs and occasional meows of her beloved cats. Yet, among her furry companions, one stood out, a sleek black cat named Midnight, whose piercing green eyes seemed to hold the secrets of the universe. Mrs. Jenkins, a seasoned cat lover, could tell Midnight was different. This cat didn't just chase after mice or curl up on windowsills. No, Midnight had a penchant for disappearing for hours, only to return under the cloak of night, often marred with inexplicable scratches. Despite her deep affection for the feline, a sliver of unease always accompanied her thoughts of Midnight. One stormy evening, as rain pattered against the windows and lightning illuminated the sky, Mrs. Jenkins, settled by the fireplace, knitting in hand, heard a persistent scratching sound emanating from the attic. Initial thoughts of dismissing it as mere feline curiosity faded as the scratching grew louder, more urgent. Driven by a mix of concern and fear, Mrs. Jenkins ascended the creaky stairs to the attic, her trusty flashlight cutting through the darkness. Pushing the door open, her heart nearly stopped. There, in a bizarre and chilling tableau, were her cats, including Midnight, encircling a shadowy figure. As her eyes met Midnight's, they flashed a sinister red, transforming the moment into something out of a gothic nightmare. The shadow in their midst began to morph into a grotesque creature, emitting a shriek so unearthly it chilled the very air. With courage born of sheer terror, Mrs. Jenkins grabbed Midnight and fled, slamming the attic door shut behind her. That night, barricaded in her bedroom, the sounds of scratching and otherworldly howls filled her home. Come morning, desperate for peace, Mrs. Jenkins sought the sanctity of a blessing from a local priest, hoping to cleanse her home of the malevolent presence. She kept Midnight at a cautious distance thereafter, the memory of that night haunting her. The mystery of that frightful evening lingered in the air like a thick fog, never quite lifting. Midnight, ever enigmatic, continued to roam the neighborhood. Those green eyes, glowing with an unsettling intelligence, seemed to watch, to guard secrets too dark and profound for the human mind to grasp. And so the tale of Mrs. Jenkins and her peculiar cat Midnight remains, a whisper on the wind, a shiver down one's spine, reminding us that sometimes the most innocent of faces may hide the most unfathomable of mysteries.